Hi, this is Cindy. How are you? And thank you so much for stopping by to see me today. Welcome to my Clean and Simple Tuesday on Wednesday, and we're going to be making a fabulous Christmas card that you can mass produce so easily sitting behind the TV. It's a no-brainer. But it's also really cool too with some of the elements I've done. And of course you can dress it up, dress it down, do whatever you want, add sequins, you name it. The way that I made it is a one stamp card, which means you just got to put one stamp on your envelope and it lays completely flat. And this is what it looks like. And I've already done the inside for you too. Isn't that pretty? Everything here is Stampin' Up, so we're going to be starting with, I'm using two sets. We're going to do the envelope, but not the inside because you just saw it and it's easy enough, and I'll show it to you again. But we're going to be using two stamp sets, and the first one is called Wondrous Wreath, and this one's a really popular stamp set, and it's photopolymer, which is great because that's how you line up the wreath. Then the second one we're going to be using is Ornamental Pine, and this is just the clear mount, and we're going to be using this right here. And then we have, of course, the coordinating die cuts for, well, that's Wondrous Wreath. The coordinating die cuts are Wonderful Wreath frameless dies, and if you get both of them at my store, you get 15% off. So that's always really cool and a big money saver in my opinion. So the first thing we're going to do, and three kinds of paper, I'm sorry. You need real red cardstock for the outside of your card, or the card base. This white piece here is cut to and I still don't know how to work this iMovie Maker. I cut it down 3/16 of an inch from a standard A2 size card rather than an 1/8. And I did the same thing for, or did I? Yeah, I did the same thing for the inside. I can tell by the margins here. And this comes out of our silver glimmer paper. So I only used 4 colors of ink, of Old Olive, Mossy Meadow, Real Red, and Basic Black. And like I said, I got everything out of those two stamp sets. So this is how we're going to go ahead and make our card. Here I just have a scratch piece of Whisper White cardstock. I'm going to zoom in a tad. I don't care too much about the size because we're going to die cut it out anyway. And the wreath is 3-step stamping. That means I'm going to stamp it 3 times. So my first color on this solid wreath here, and notice this little tabby down here, it doesn't ink up, but it helps you to place things if you're really, super neurotic or, want perfect placement, like I don't have on here, because you can see where the Mossy Meadow isn't quite covering up the Old Olive part of the leaf. I'm cool with that. I mean, I've never seen a perfect wreath in my life, that comes off of a tree, so I'm good with it. I'm going to try and keep this short too, since I don't know how to edit yet. So I'm going to go ahead and get Old Olive and get this thing inked up. And I know I need a manicure. That's going to be done tomorrow, thank God. It's driving me crazy too. And this stamp is really big. So when you turn it over like this, sometimes you can see that line, like right there. So you just kind of want to go around it a few times and make sure you hit everything. And then I have like this little Inka Dinka Doo stamp mat under me. It's not too thick, but when you use photopolymer stamps, you kind of need some cushion underneath it, just to make sure that you get a really good impression. Nice. Well, I got like too much of a good impression there, but such is life. Then I'm going to go ahead and grab Mossy Meadow, and this is the second part of our stamp. I'm going to scooch that over a little bit, but then again, you really don't need to see me inking up a stamp. So with this one, I'm just making sure that I have all the leaves covered. And this one's large too, so you kind of got to take it around a time or two. And I have some on my block, and I really hope that it doesn't get on my project. This is something that you really want to use a stamp press with, but I didn't want to spend all my time changing out stamps. And one thing that I did that I forgot to tell you about is that when those little tabbies go down this way, when I first put down this stamp, I'll grab a pencil, because you can sneak underneath the block, and then I just kind of made a mark on my paper, and since we're going to die cut it out, it really doesn't matter. And that kind of helped me line it up a little bit more, but now I'm just going to eyeball it. And it looks like this one's going to be, dead on to well, it's not. Again, it happens. Now for our third stamp, and this is going to be our little berries. We're going to use real red on this. And we got the little tabby down here. One thing that I noticed with this is that no matter, if you wanted more berries, no matter which way you turn this, you're going to get berries in the exact same place. So this is just a, one stamp job. You can always go ahead and add some stickles. We have, I don't have it with me, but, just squirt your own little berries on there. You can add some enamel dot sequins, whatever, large. I mean, you got a lot of choices on this card as far as how you want to doll it up. But if you want to mass produce it super quick, this is the way to go. So I just want to make sure that there we go. Okay, now for the die cuts, what you want to do is grab your magnetic platform, and this place like really warped. You don't want something like that on the bottom. This one's straight, sort of, kind of straighter than the other one. So you just want to go ahead and put that there. Now the two die cuts that we're going to be using, actually we're going to be using 3, is going to be this big wreath to cut it out. The smaller one I'm going to place on the inside, and then for our bow I'm going to use red glimmer paper to cut that out. And this is why I said kind of use that little pencil. But this, if you get a headshot, sorry. The die is kind of a no-brainer as far as placement goes, because you can see exactly where you need to cut. And I generally start at the bottom and then just kind of straighten it out a little bit. around, and this is going to stay on this platform and kind of hard to move a little bit. At least for me it is, you know, right now with that hand and all. Okay, so you're going to have that one on the outside. And one thing that's really cool about this stamp set is that there's a die to everything but the sentiments. Then you get this little baby die here, and you stick that down exactly like that. It's in the right place if you don't see any stamping, okay? Then you just go ahead and put your plate on top, and you can go ahead and double up if you like, and then lay down your piece of paper, your glimmer paper there, and then grab the bow, turn that over, and go ahead and run it through your Big Shot. Now, once that's done, because I'm so totally prepared because I don't know how to edit, but it is helping me to keep the video short. Once that is done, this is what it's going to look like. And it looks pretty cool. And then we have like our little bow here. Now on the glimmer paper on the back, glue dots work better than anything else. So I happen to have a roll here. And I'm just putting 3 on. 1 in the middle and 1 on the, no hand control. I'm lucky I got that. So you can see where I have them right here. And I don't want any down here because of my placement. I'm going to go ahead and choose to put this bow right up here at the very top. And there we go. You could add something in the middle there, tie ribbon or some twine around it. There is an image to use to hang it if you'd like. And it was, see, this is where I get distracted on videos. It was this one right here, and you can go ahead and take it and like fold it over so it looks like it's hanging off of the door. I didn't do that. I just kind of went that Cindy doesn't know how to edit her videos and needs to get them done really, really fast and be quiet mode. So now I have, I'm just going to put 4 glue dots or Stampin' Dimensionals around this wreath here just to give it some dimension because I like my dimension. I'm going to bring my card back in that I've already prepared. It's an A2 tent size. Card. And my sentiment is going to be this happy, wonderful Christmas. And I kind of want to have some balance in here a little bit. So one thing to do first, at least for me, because, I mean, you know what kind of stamper I am. To play it safe, I am going to ink up my sentiment first using some black ink. And I'm just going to kind of eyeball a little bit where I want to put that. Maybe right about there looks good. And I felt it shift. I'm still having problems with that. And like I said, this is a great, awesome clue. I'm glad that didn't shift like I thought it did. This is so easy to mass produce. I was able to get one done in 5 minutes, but just imagine using the assembly line. You know, do all your red, your white, your cutting, your stamping, and it works out perfect. So I'm going to center this wreath here, and here is our card. Super simple, really easy. I've gone ahead and showed you what I did with the inside. I used another sentiment from that same set, and there was little flowers in there, and I stamped one below and one above. Then I just grabbed a little, believe it or not, this is a Wink Estella pen. It's different than what you're used to seeing. It doesn't have a brush tip. It has more of like this nib. And I just kind of dotted on the inside to give it just a tad of sparkle, since I have some on the front of the card. So now let's go ahead and do our envelope and fix that up. And this is also very assembly line too. I have a Whisper White envelope here, and I went ahead and die cut this insert from the frameless envelope liners. Use the big one. We're going to decorate it before we get this in. And this is where the ornamental pine stamp set comes in. This baby's huge. I mean, really big. I'm going to go ahead and use a combination of Old Olive and Mossy Meadow on this. Not necessarily a true rock and roll technique, but just having both colors on there. You can also grab a Mossy Meadow marker and do some thumping on it. Maybe add a little bit of baked brown sugar or whatnot. But I'm just going to go ahead and stick to the colors, the 3 colors I used on my card, you know, to keep it assembly line and clean and simple. And that's it. So I'm going to move this way up here, make sure that you can still see it, and stick that way down there. There you go. And I'm just going to take this monster block, turn it over, and then bring it in right about there. And just give it a good press. That wasn't so good, but you can also add that to the inside of your card if you have leftover and haven't quite, if you wanted to do something else. You know what, I got another idea. Normally the stamp goes up there. Not this stamp, like, you know, the postage stamp. And I can see where I have some leftover ink that didn't quite make it down. So I'm just going to go ahead and kind of flip this over a little bit and have some coming in this way too. And if it's lighter, that's okay. Actually, that looks pretty cool. And it worked out great. I have to grab a baby wipe to go ahead and get my surface cleaned up here. And when you use something like this, baby wipe, go ahead and pull all the ink off of that as well. Only if it's water-based. If it's anything else, you're going to have a stained pad and it's going to show up on your next project. So this is not all the way dry yet, unfortunately, and like I said, I don't know how to edit. So I'm just going to go ahead and grab my towel and stick that down there. And I'm just going to turn it over, lift it up, and I decided I want the red showing through because I knew I was going to stamp green on front. So that ties together very nicely. Now with the Stampin' Up! Envelope liners, they go all the way in, all the way down to the bottom. So what I recommend doing is just grabbing, oh come on, I can't lose that, some snail, and be careful when you slide it in because you don't want it sticking when it's not quite ready to stick yet. So I just kind of put it there, and as you can see, the dies do not do this crease for you here. This is when I just stuck it in all the way down like that, and it goes all the way exactly up to where the gum is. All you have to do is line these up. And that's it. Then I'm going to go ahead and put some adhesive on this. I'm becoming an excellent left-hander. I can even write now. And then just fold that over. And there you have it. Sticks down, looks beautiful. Turn it over, and the only thing you really see through it is, well, you don't really see too much. I think if I would have popped the green on the other side, I would see more. But, you know, again, that's a preference thing. So, that's it for our card. I can't believe it was this short. I'm curious to see how short it is. I'm guessing around 12 minutes. So I hope that you enjoyed this, and I'd love to see some changed up versions of this. My challenge is on like the 1st of every month, and November 1st is this Saturday. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do the challenge early. Do this. Use this stamp set, and if you don't have it, use something like it, but make a clean and simple Christmas card that you can easily mass produce, including the envelope, and only one stamp, okay? And for a prize, let's go ahead and do a Stampin' Up! Texture boutique machine, okay? I think that's a really good, you use it for your embossing folders. I think that's a really cool prize. So thank you again for stopping by to see me today, and I hope that you enjoy this card. God bless you, and I'll see you the next time. Bye!